Welcome along. We're diving into some recent gridiron action today, specifically that preseason game just yesterday between Dallas and Baltimore. Big names, lots of anticipation.
Right.
But look, we're going beyond just the 31-13 score here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really want to dissect what happened, player performances, strategic decisions, what it all might mean.
Exactly. This isn't just reading off a stat sheet. We're trying to, cut through some of the noise and pull out the really important insights. Things like how individual players are developing, those coaching tactics, and what these games really tell us about the teams heading into the real season. Because these games, they're crucial for evaluation, finding talent, testing depth.
Okay, so let's get into it. The Dallas offense, well, it wasn't exactly firing on all cylinders, especially with Joe Milton under center. They lost 31-13. And Milton, he is pretty blunt about his own play.
He was. Graded himself a D, I believe.
Yeah, D. Finished with, 122 yards through that interception, 9 of 18 passing. And then Will Grier came in late in the game.
Yeah, about 9 minutes left. And look, that D grade, it felt, pretty accurate, unfortunately. Milton's issues weren't just like one bad throw. It was about consistency and, maybe more importantly, his decision-making when things got pressured.
Right. That end zone interception really stands out.
It does. Throwing into double coverage like that, it's risky. And what's a bit concerning is that it looked, quite similar to a deep ball pick he threw the week before against the Rams.
Oh, interesting. So a pattern, perhaps.
It kind of points that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests maybe a struggle with reading defenses after the snap, anticipating rotations. That's tough for young QBs, definitely. Yeah. And it's something coaches work hard on, but it can be tricky to fix quickly.
So more than just one bad throw, it's about the why behind it. And wasn't there another big mistake early on?
Oh, yeah. The opening drive safety. That was rough.
He just didn't seem to see the blitzer coming.
Appeared completely blindsided by that corner blitz. And the thing is, he had an option. Jonathan Mingo was open on a quick out. He held on to it too long, didn't get the ball out.
That's awareness, right? Processing speed.
Exactly. And Milton even said it afterwards, something about needing to clean my eyes up, understand the reads better, like spotting a safety rolling down. For you listening, that basically means seeing how the defense changes right as the play starts, knowing where the pressure might come from and where your quick outlet pass is.
And the overall offensive output, especially early, not good.
Not good at all. -5 yards in the whole first quarter.
Yeah.
Just 31 total yards by halftime. I mean, that's almost hard to believe for an NFL team.
Wow. Okay, but the struggles weren't just in the air. The running game had problems, too.
Yeah, it did.
Miles Sanders, the veteran back, he didn't find much room.
No, just 15 yards on 7 carries. That's, 2.1 yards a pop? Not what you expect from him.
And there were specific plays. I remember a 5-yard loss on an outside run that just killed a drive.
Right, and then getting stuffed for no gain on that 4th and 1.
Yeah.
That's a situation where you absolutely need your veteran back to move the chains.
So you got to ask, right, what does this mean for Sanders? For the run game overall? He's supposed to be a key piece.
It's a fair question. And when you look at Milton's struggles and Sanders' lack of production, it does tie into some bigger worries about the offense.
You hear whispers, right, like buyer's remorse.
Exactly. That phrase has been thrown around. It's maybe not just about one bad game, but maybe a question of fit. Is the scheme right for these guys? Is the blocking philosophy clicking with Sanders' style?
That's a deeper issue.
It could be. It's not always just run harder. Sometimes the pieces just don't mesh perfectly. And then you had other things like Jalen Cropper dropping an early pass.
Little things that add up.
They do. And the penalties. 11 penalties for Dallas. That's a lot for any game, let alone preseason where you're supposed to be working on fundamentals. Coach Schottenheimer did not look happy.
Yeah, I saw that. Even that sideline incident with CeeDee Lamb bumping the ref, though apparently no fine there.
Right. Surprising. But it all points to a need for more focus, more discipline across the board.
Okay, but amidst all that, you mentioned Milton grading himself a D. Was there anything positive from him? A flash?
Actually, yes. There was one throw. People called it maybe his best throw as a Cowboy so far.
Oh. Tell me more.
It was a deep ball, 49 yards down the right sideline to Jonathan Mingo. Perfect placement. Beautiful throw.
And Mingo. Didn't he gain more on that one play than the whole team did in the first half?
That's the incredible part, yeah. More yards on one single pass than the entire offense managed in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It shows you the arm talent is there. It's undeniably there.
So the potential is visible, just needs consistency.
Precisely. That's the challenge for him, for the coaches. Can they harness that talent and combine it with better decision-making, better reads, more consistency? That one throw gives them something to build on, though. Gives them confidence.
Okay, so that's the offense, kind of a mixed bag, leaning towards problematic. But then you flip the script and you look at the Dallas defense.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, because while the offense was, let's say, finding its footing, the defense really seemed to step up. They made some big plays.
They absolutely did. The defense was, frankly, the reason Dallas wasn't completely blown out. They generated takeaways, kept things from getting totally out of hand.
Like that pick six by Andrew Booth.
Exactly. A 40-yard pick six off Cooper Rush, their old teammate. And Booth didn't just get lucky. Reports said he read Rush like a book. He anticipated the route.
That's huge for a young corner. Shows instincts.
It really does. It shows he understands concepts, quarterback tendencies. That's what makes a difference maker, not just a guy who can cover. And it gave Dallas their first lead of the whole preseason. Big moment.
And Booth wasn't the only one making plays in the secondary, right?
Nope. Kemon Hall, the nickel corner, he snagged an interception too. Gave them a shot to tie it up before halftime. And he's in a real battle, a dogfight they called it, for that starting nickel job. So play like that, immense value for him personally.
And the linebackers. I heard Damone Clark had a good game.
Clark was flying around, 7 tackles, 2 for loss. You could really see his speed, his burst to the football. He talked about putting in extra time, and you saw it pay off.
So these weren't just, garbage time plays. They were impactful.
Absolutely crucial. They kept the score respectable, gave the offense chances. It showed you the kind of disruptive identity that defense can have.
And it wasn't just the established guys. Some younger players, maybe less-known names, also made some noise.
Definitely. You look at undrafted rookie Zion Childress at nickel corner. Getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, heard about him. Converted safety.
That's right. And sometimes those guys bring a different kind of awareness, good instincts for the ball, maybe a bit more physical inside.
Yeah.
People were talking about him potentially starting week 1.
Wow, undrafted rookie starting. That's pretty rare.
It's a huge testament to him if it happens. And there were others too, guys like Donovan Izoraku, Jay Toya, Shamar James, Jack Sanborn, Perry and Winfrey. Young guys showing they belong.
And what about the pass rush? Loads of talent there, right?
Yep.
Even if the sacks weren't piling up yet.
Yeah, the edge rusher depth looks really strong. Peyton Turner, Tyrus Wheat, James Houston. Those guys can play. It's a good problem for Dallas to have. Gives them options, depth. They haven't actually recorded a sack yet this preseason, which is slightly odd. But sometimes in preseason, defenses keep things pretty simple, pretty vanilla. You can still see the individual talent, the pressure they can create, even if it doesn't end in a sack every time.
Okay, interesting. Let's swing back to the offense briefly, specifically the rookies. We talked about the struggles, but how about the first-round pick, Tyler Booker, the guard, his debut?
Right, Tyler Booker. And by all accounts, he had a solid game, which is, exactly what you hope for from your first-rounder in his first real taste of NFL action.
Held up okay in pass pro, opened some lanes.
Yeah, seemed pretty steady in protection, and did open up a nice hole for Sanders on one run. What's interesting is Booker mentioned how big it was just getting his pregame routine down, feeling that NFL rhythm for the first time.
Makes sense. But didn't we hear some less positive things about him from training camp earlier?
We did. Some reports out of camp weren't quite as glowing, mentioned some struggles. So him playing well in the game, it raises that classic question, doesn't it?
Practice player versus game player.
Exactly. Maybe he's a guy who just flips a switch when the lights come on. Some players are like that. They might look okay in practice, but in a real game situation, they elevate. And for an offensive lineman, that's a trait you absolutely love to see.
Good point. And any other rookies make an impression? Maybe Phil Maffa, the running back.
Yeah, Maffa, the 7th rounder, didn't get a ton of carries, but on the runs he did have, he showed really good contact balance. Bouncing off tackles, staying upright. That's a skill you look for.
Okay. So, putting it all together, despite those Dallas defensive highlights and some rookie promise, the overall stats still favored Baltimore pretty heavily.
Well, definitely. Baltimore outgained Dallas, was it 399 yards to 176? That's a big gap. And Cooper Rush, even with 2 picks, threw for almost 200 yards and a score for the Ravens.
So it underscores that preseason is really about evaluation more than the final score?
I think so. It's about seeing who can play, who fits, testing depth, getting ready for the regular season grind. These aren't just throwaway games, they're critical auditions. But yeah, the Cowboys offense clearly has some kinks to iron out before week 1. Big time.
So summarizing our look at this game, the Dallas offense, Definitely facing some questions, consistency issues, discipline problems. But on the flip side, a defense that showed real playmaking ability and some exciting young talent emerging on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. A lot of different threads coming out of just one preseason game.
So a final thought for you listening. How much stock should we really put into these preseason games? Especially when evaluating guys like Milton who are still developing, or even a veteran like Sanders in a possibly new situation.
It's a perennial question, isn't it? How much does this really tell us about what will happen when the games count? And maybe think about this too. How do teams balance that need to evaluate everyone, find those hidden gems, with the simple desire to actually go out and win the game, even if it's just preseason?
A tricky balancing act for every team, every year.
For sure. Lots to think about as we get closer to the real thing.